My name is JR. We talked last July about some damage to your roof, and I'm calling to see if you might be willing to take a minute or two to give a review about Canyon State Restoration and the job done in terms of tarping and replacing the roof, if I recall correctly.
Absolutely.
Um, so I believe that you had texted me, you contacted us, you texted me a picture of some tiles that were dislodged, if I recall correctly. From there, I believe Dane came out maybe with the crew. I'm not sure. I'm just a person who handles, trying to get reviews. So if you could tell me a little bit about how it went and how you your experience throughout. Maybe you can just give me a little chronology of what happened.
Um, okay, that was a very turbulent experience because of my insurance company.
I understand.
Um,
Yeah, that's not unusual to hear. That's part of why I wanted to get your story.
yeah, yeah, it was bad. I'm just saying, it was bad. It just wasn't handled well. I'm more shocked with Liberty Mutual. I've talked to people that have Liberty Mutual that have done claims with them, and they felt like it was just totally outside of their nature. Like that didn't sound like Liberty Mutual. Um, when Dane, he had Ron and his crew come out and carpet the very next day, where my insurance company kind of threw me. We can only get out there the next 24 business hours, and it ended up being not Monday, not Tuesday, but they came out on Wednesday to actually assess the problems, and they didn't take into account that it was monsoon season. So
Right,
Dane
just
was
to
able to talk to Ron, and Ron got his son to come out because I was panicky,
right.
um, and so they did that, which was Ron's son is an absolute rock star, and Ron's a really good guy.
Okay.
We finally got the people to come out and take a look at it. He never really got on top of the roof. He got on the lower section, but nothing higher. Really didn't know what he was talking about. Cut me a really quick check
Wow.
that Dane knew that it wasn't going to cover.
Right.
And so I then had to battle my insurance company to explain what was going on, and then Dane was talking to the insurance adjuster. They went back and forth, and it was a battle because I knew that I wouldn't be able to say the right thing. So Dane he did a really good job. I mean, I can only say that I have spoken highly of Dane to other people. I have spoken highly of Ron with his willingness to be Johnny on the spot. And then it was the insurance company feeling like the work really wasn't as desperate in dire need of being completely restored. They sent out their roofer on their list of approved roofers. They came out kind of crappy. They sent them out 30 minutes before Dane can be out there just to make sure that they don't say anything that I wouldn't know how to respond to. But he got there in time, and the roofer confirmed what Ron had said,
Okay.
where the underlayment was disrupted and needed to be complete resto. So, and then it was the battle of how they wrote the checks.
Yeah, I actually I know something about a warranty company. I don't know if I'm using the right terminology. Go ahead.
Hmm? That's okay. Yeah, they told me they wrote the checks out to me and my mortgage company, so I had to then prolong the experience to send the checks to the mortgage company,
Okay.
because then they can write a check to me and my contractor, and then it was getting all the monies, and then it was a battle that I learned to hate my home and
Oh no.
Liberty Mutual.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say that makes sense to me. The home, I'm like, oh, I hope not, but I hear you.
Yeah, yeah, and then then it was Ron was really pushing on, come on, come on, come on. I said, Ron, the money's coming. I have 22,000, or I don't remember. I would have to look at my file, but I had everything that Dane had said. This is how much it's going to cost. I
Right.
had all of that.
You had it all
Like,
documented.
okay, come on, give me the check, come on. And I'm like, come on, it's on the way. All they're doing, we're just going through semantics now. We're just waiting for new checks. Can you just start it? No, can't do that.
Okay.
Don't front the front end money. I'm like, all right, well, what do you want me to say? I don't have $22,000 laying around, and I'm not going to charge it. Can you just start it? No. So when the checks finally came,
And when was that?
I'm like, oh, I said, so the checks came. Dane sent his partner to come get it, or I told him, I said, well, shit, I'll meet you somewhere. He's like, nah, I'm already on the side of town, just me at 7th and 101.
Okay.
So I met up, gave him the 3 checks.
And what and I
Money.
and when was? Do you remember if that was like late last year, or like how long was that from July when the storm happened?
Oh, you're talking about at least October.
Okay, just wanted to get an idea. Go ahead.
That's okay, and I say roughly, but I can tell
No,
you.
that's fine.
I can tell you that it was at least he got the money. He got the 3 checks. His partner with a really nice truck. He got.
Was that maybe Ryan?
Yes, Ryan. There you go.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
his name.
Uh-huh.
He got the check probably. If I had to estimate, probably mid-October.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Second, third week of not third. I'd say second week of October. Just like I said, mid October, and I assumed just any day now.
So that was close to 3 months. So go ahead.
Yeah. So that was 4 months.
Oh.
Yeah, 3 months. Yeah. So I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I'm waiting. So I waited for like a week or two, and I called Dane. I'm like, Dane, what's going on? He's like, what? Ron has to talk to you? And I'm like, no, was he supposed to? He's like, well, I talked to him. Yeah, he's supposed to talk to him. I'm like, okay, well, he hasn't, and I didn't know if I'm supposed to schedule anything. He's like, no, that's my job. I'm like, okay. So I got a phone call from Ron, and that was roughly a week later, and we were 2 weeks out from November now, and I was assuming because everybody's been let's get the roof on, it shouldn't take this long for insurance company, and we're talking about the end of July and August. What the hell is insurance company doing? Joedy, Jesus Christ! And I'm like, I'm in no control of this shit. And then it went from August to September and October, and so when I finally gave the 3 checks, and we're 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I'm talking to Ron. He's like, oh, we're not doing this before Thanksgiving. And I'm like, what? Wait, huh? He's like, Joey, I got people scheduled. And I'm like, okay, but I would have thought, we were waiting a long time. It would have been like, let's leave some room for me. But I'm like, you know what? But that's not fair for me to think, because reality is he's a businessman. He can only do the job he has money for, so I get it. And I'm like, all right, well, when can you?
Okay.
And he's like, well, I'll do what I can. Well, sure as shit, he pulled some strings. And I remember they started pulling like that following Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to have, I know following Tuesday because Wednesday the dumpster was being filled, and they started pulling shit off on Thursday and Friday, and I know they started doing something on Saturday because, Saturday was the NASCAR race.
Oh.
Saturday? Yeah, I think it was Saturday was the NASCAR race. I think it was Saturday. Yeah. And I remember that because my mom and I went out to the NASCAR race, and they started doing they put the under limit, they did everything.
Okay.
So Monday they came out and and then they started putting I think Sunday they started putting the roof on, and then I think it was Sunday, but one guy did it. I felt bad for him, but one guy they had a whole squad of people putting, the bricks or the tile up on the roof, but one person really hung my entire roof.
Okay.
And I felt bad for him. I'm like, okay, did I push for this? Because I was a little like, shit, not before Thanksgiving, because I felt bad. So I'm like, I want a crew up there. I want one person, and he's working through the weekend.
Oh.
Dude, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't cause that. So, and then it led to, they were done by about that Wednesday. Like I a roof to be 100%. I don't want little cracks. I don't care a little. And they were fine with it. Ron ended up, so anyway, so after they put the roof on, there was like a whole other pallet full of tile. He's like, what do you want to do with these? And I'm like, well, I don't know. The money went to you, so I guess it's my tile, but you got the money and all this tile. He's like, well, do you want to save some? So I think I counted up to like 15 tiles, like regular tiles, and like 10 or 12 corner tiles or side tiles or whatever.
Okay.
I should have took more because I've had the house painted and they cracked a bunch of tiles, so I had them replaced, like the tiles, so I'm like half of what I should, what I had. But hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing else happens. Ron came out a couple other times just because I had some fears, just because Dane's a rock star as far as I'm concerned, because I can look at roofs now and I can tell you there's a problem with them.
You became like a semi-expert, huh?
Yeah. He's a great guy. I wish I could tell him, I told him that, but I don't know if he really thinks I'm serious, but he's just a really good guy. He really is. I'm trying to get him business. That's what I think of him. Ron is a really stand-up guy. So all in all, I'm happy with how Dane, how he is. There was just a lack of communications right with the checks and Ron. I didn't take that personally at all. I know he was busy. He was telling me he was busy and everything, and I believed everything that Dane said. He didn't give me any reason to not believe him. Ron always jumped on the spot. I love the roof looks great. It's just one of those kind of things like, Ron said, just be prepared that obviously these tiles were not meant for this roof in a sense of, it was different tile and there's things just aren't going to fit perfectly ideal, but I won't do anything on your roof that you aren't protected. And I believe him and I trust him. I gave Ron's car to a guy down the street. So I hope both of them are making good amount of money. If you're the first person I called in all this, I can just tell you thank you for giving me Copper State restoration.
It's Canyon State, but go ahead. Yeah.
Canyon State. I'm sorry. But it was one of those where I just felt like we were all frustrated for like different reasons, but we all came together and did a good product, and we just had our first major, like the house. The winds were crazy as
right.
Last night, and I'm like, I hope it survives the wind. Well,
yeah, we're coming back into monsoon season, so yeah, now you get a later.
I love rain, and I love the way rain smells. I love rain, and last year I hated rain, so I'm excited that maybe I can enjoy the rain a little bit more this year.
Nice. Okay.
But
Go ahead. I got it. Okay.
No, but I'm just going to say I'm for over and all. I'd say I'm very happy with the roof. I just I just have that worry that something like stupid like a microburst will hit again, or if something's going to Dane thankfully said that he would get, because the original thing that we initially were concerned with is my insurance company was very unethical as far as I'm concerned, because the way they said it was, we cannot, by law, we cannot tell you who to use, but we have a list of roofers that we can send out. They will give you a 5-year workmanship warranty, and that means that if anything happens and we determine that it's a workmanship, then we'll just go down to the next roofer. They'll fix it. It's all covered, 100%. It's warranted. Blah blah blah. And Dane was saying, the way Dane said was that. Oh, so then I said, okay, so what if I go with myself? And they're like, well, they're not going to offer the same warranty, and blah, blah, blah. And I felt like it was a battle with the insurance company that I didn't need to deal with. I didn't need to deal with all of this. And Dane was really supportive. He actually had to get onto my insurance company, and there was a time where there was communication breakdown, and it was on my insurance side, and they were trying to say it was our side, and then they called and said, whoever's representing you, this guy named Dane, he's calling, he's very offensive, he's very assertive, and like a bulldog on the phone with the insurance people, and I'm like, do you understand that we are in the month of October?
Right.
We don't have money.
Yeah.
I said, you people wouldn't even send somebody out and say, oh my gosh, oh, you've been with us for 20 years and half your roof is off. Let's send somebody out tonight. Oh my gosh, it's
Right.
monsoon. No, you told me 24 business hours. And I told you then on the phone, if anything happens outside, internally of the house, because you didn't tarp it, I'm not paying that deductible. I said, and I had Dane get a guy that had his son that works on the weekends for him come out here and put up a tile, put up tarp, and they re-tarped my house like 3 or 4 times because it took so long. So if my guy that's representing me is being, I don't know, in your kind of word that you can't say professionally, being an asshole, I got to do something because I have no roof, and it's been 3.5 months. So we had that out. Dane called me. He told me exactly what he told the person. I said, oh, so you basically were holding them accountable for doing their job, and they thought you were assertive. Trust me, I'm behind you. I'm in your zone. My allegiance is to you, Dane, not this insurance company that I'm just not happy with, and unfortunately, I haven't found I don't go through the whole shit of rewriting policies, so we just dealt with it, and our policy is up soon, so we're going to and I told Liberty Mutual I will be looking into another insurance company.
Yeah, I actually asked Dane if he, will give comments on which companies he feels are more or less better value for a homeowner, and I don't remember off the top of my head. I know, unfortunately, I remember I'm not a homeowner. First of all, I rent, so I asked him, I brought it up, but I hear about the disaster ones, like the ones that don't go well is what I mean, and I can name a couple companies that you would have heard of, but they aren't the ones you'd want to use. But you may want to check in with him once your policy is coming to maybe look into a different company there that might be a better value. But I do remember talking to you. I'm looking back at my calendar. It was a Friday, July 21st, 2017, and I remember talking to you a couple times that weekend because you were concerned about the ongoing rains and winds, if I recall right. Does that sound right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then I didn't know that they had to retarp it multiple times between July and October, but that makes sense. And yeah, I mean that's a pretty long 3 months is a pretty long delay. No matter, what if it was an area that was devastated by a hurricane, that would be a little different. But the insurance company, like I would expect, well, they did have a lot of hurricanes that year. Maybe they got slammed because of Florida and Texas, but nevertheless, we as homeowners expect to be able to be served, like you said, in an emergency on a very fast basis. And then after the emergency stage is over, you still expect it to be like weeks, maybe not months. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or 1 week. I don't know.
Yeah, and what killed me is that so are you J.R. Hun?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I got your phone number, 464-4446.
Yeah, that's the one I just called you on, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I just I was telling you on my paperwork, and I'm like, it's right over here. Yeah, so it's the insurance guy, Bradley Strickland, was the guy, and he's from Indiana. And he came out here, and he was reviewing everything that was going on. He never got onto he got onto my lower level, like I said, but he was out of town. He cut me a check for minus of my $1,000 deductible for $2,700 to fix it. And then he cut me a $10,000 check because they were going to take the tiles from the back side of my house and use them on the front side of my house. And Dane's like, you've got to be effing kidding me. Those tiles are obsolete, and this is what your policy says. Your policy states, if you're going to hold the homeowners to every letter and dot and cross and T and slash Q and all that, then the homeowner's going to hold you accountable. Those tiles are obsolete as of 9 years ago, so the policy states you can't put the exact same tile tile up on your roof, guess what? You have to replace it.
Yeah.
They fought tooth and nail with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it got to the point where we were almost going line by line on the policy, and they finally said, you know what? Shit, you're right. We got to do it.
Yeah, I've heard that many times that he'll take the manual and show it to the adjuster in person, and he knows it better than the adjuster does. The manual used by that company, it wasn't Liberty Mutual that I'm thinking of, but anyway.
Yeah, well, and then that Bradley guy, he became non-existent. I don't know if he wasn't answering calls, but then he went on a week and a half vacation, because he had been working seven days a week, and oh my gosh, I'm from Indiana. I'm like, dude, not my problem. Not that kind of person that says that.
Yeah.
A lot of people have no problem telling me that, but I'm telling you, I don't care. I have like 4 holes in my roof. Now, it wasn't like holes like through the wood holes, but when it looks like the hand of God kind of like grabbed a bunch of tiles and moved them, and you have exposed wood, I tend to think that that's a problem. So it's one of those where I'm just really disappointed, and I'm not saying that because you're with somebody for 20 years you should be able to call the spot, but I'm telling you, I can look at 2 other roofs that the people came out. They had the entire. I mean, I went over and asked them. They're like, it was the dream. Yeah, it was no problem. The insurance cut me a check right away, and I wrote the check over to my contractor. I'm like, do you own cash to the house? He's like, no, I have no mortgage. I'm like, if you had checks cut directly to you, yes. I'm like, I had to do this, but please understand that when I received the first check. It was to Angela and I, my wife.
Right.
The next check was paid, and it went Joedy, Angela, and I didn't even notice the mortgage company, to be honest, because I just saw a check. I saw $10,000. I'm like, oh my God, I can do it $10,000. I can pay off a lot of shit with that. And then I got the third check, and I'm looking at all this. I mean, it was well over $20,000, and I'm like, wow. Well, the process of getting this check to my mortgage company. Oh, let me remind you of what. Well, not remind me. Let me tell you about a little side problem that I had to send them to Arkansas. And when they got to Arkansas, they waited, and because of it being monsoon season, hurricane season, blah blah blah, they were getting up. The lady that had my claim was retiring on October 15th. So, not October 15th, October 3rd. I think it was 15th or 20th. So I sent her my check. She's like, well, yeah, just let me know. Well, I call her back because I don't hear from her in a week, and she's getting close to retirement. Well, she goes, yeah, we have it documented that we received your check. We just don't know where they're at.
Oh my! So that was with the warrant. That was with the mortgage company.
Right.
So you had issues with the insurance company was the biggest thing, but also with the with the mortgage company too. Well, because the insurance company had written the check wrong, I think is the whole reason you had any issue with the mortgage company anyway. But go ahead.
Right, because we had just moved in. I originally called the mortgage company and I said, I talked to Dane, and because I called him, I go, Dane, I'm looking at the second check, and I go, it may not be a big deal. No, this was the third check. I said, it may not be a big deal, Dane, because we were scheduling to hook up together to give him the check. So I go, it has a mortgage company assigned to it. And he goes, shit. And I go, what? And he goes, they're playing hardball with you. And I go, we talked about it. He's like, you have to now go to your mortgage company, blah, 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 because what people were doing was when something bad would happen to their home, they'd get their insurance, they would get the money minus their deductible, they would do shady work, leave the house, the way it is, walk away from it, and and if there was a roof, they have a $20,000+ check, and they walk away from the home, and they go live their life somewhere else. So the insurance company's like, oh, okay, well, that's our investment, and your mortgage company, their investment, so now they're going to include the mortgage company. And I said, what, that kind of makes sense. It's like, well, okay, save your ass as a mortgage company. back probably a week. It's about 6 days later. We found your check. They went into the wrong file. I go, I'm waiting. Oh, well, now I have to get my manager approval. Now we have to create an account. Now we have to wait for the checks to clear for the money in that account. And then I can pay you in the different, it wasn't called phases, but the different, like schedules, like payment schedules. And I go, what
Okay.
does that mean? He goes, well, you have 3 checks here. We can write you the 3 checks when that happens. And I go, I don't think well, here, why don't you call me back, tell me what your person said, your contractor. Well, I called Dane back and he goes, Joedy, you can't do that. We need money up front to buy all the
Tile.
material.
Yeah.
So then getting a hold of that lady was, hey, give me a phone call. Oh, I missed your phone call. Oh, your email. I'm like, I want to talk to you. So I finally got her on the phone. I go, just write me one big ass check. She goes, yeah, I can do that. I'm like, why didn't you just offer that in the first place? So in those days of wanting how to get the checks, the minute was waiting for the check. And of course, I FedEx my checks to them. I waited for snail mail. Well, 5 days later, roughly 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, I'll say 5 at least. No, it was more 6 because it was almost a whole week. 6 days later, I get my massive check. I'm like, all right, boom. So, I get the 3 checks. I'm sorry, the 3 checks. No, yeah, because those are 3. Yeah, then I got the 3 checks, and I was able to send them over because they did check for check, but they sent it. Yeah. So it was a clusterfuck, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say it other than it was. And like I said, because this isn't the exact tile, I mean, there's just some gaps here and there. But Ron, the guy, he looks like he's going out on a Saturday night with his hat and belt buckle and boots and stuff. He climbs up on the roof and he goes, Joedy, you're 100%. Nothing's going to happen. You're good. This is a roof you'll have for 25 years. So I'm like, or more. And I'm like, that's what I want, Ron. If I see a gap here, is that bad? Is water going to get? Something's going to go? He's like, no, trust me, you're fine. So I'm like, oh, that's fine. I just want stress-free. That's literally, I mean, my wife and I do things in a way so that when something happens, it should be like, okay, this is what you do, this is how we do it, and it's taken care of. And I felt it was bad. And I could feel Dane's frustration, but like I said, I couldn't tell him how much I appreciated what he was doing, let alone you guys, or you, getting me in touch with him, to a point where a lady at work that sits right next to me, when I lost my roof, she blew a water line, whatever thing, and it destroyed, like, I'd say a quarter of her house. I mean, it destroyed drywall and the kitchen and the master bedroom and the way the things were at. And I sent him, and she, because her insurance company told her the same thing, she went with what the insurance company said to use, and she didn't know that they can't hold you to using the contractor that they only go for. That they can't do that, and she didn't know that. And she had a guy that said, I know you had water flood your kitchen, but water didn't get underneath your tile. And she goes, I'm not even in construction, and I can tell you there's got to be water underneath my tile. Nope. But my whole house was flooded. Nope, tile didn't get underneath there. I said, you know that, she goes, Joey, I know that, the grout is like a sponge, and there's water going to get underneath the roof. That just regular tile is not sealed. There's, you have flooding, water's going to get, so you should pop up the tile, dry it off, whatever, and replace the tile. And her insurance company basically told her, if you call in this one more time, we will drop you from your coverage. So, and I said, well, let me get Dane on the phone, and she's like, I'm already down the road, but anyway, so it's, and I don't know if I'll ever talk to Dane again, but he's an outstanding guy. That's all I can say. You partnered yourself up with a guy that, if I can personally give business to, I will. I will.
Well, I appreciate. I'm very very glad to hear that. And I said I've heard about several cases where there was complications of some kind with the insurance company. Your case was different because there was also the check being written to the mortgage company, which further delayed and complicated things. But so the and I didn't know we were going to talk this long today, but I appreciate you sharing everything. You referring your neighbor to Dane, and it sounds like you said she's on down the road. I think is what you said. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Sorry I talked too long, but I mean,
well, my thought would be no. That's
excellent.
I appreciate you giving all the detail, and my thought would be that if an insurance company said we're going to drop you, that I would be looking for my next insurance company, and and then also who can I have advocate for me to get my current insurance company to honor their policy, to do
Right.
what they're obligated to do. And I'm glad that entrusted that you trust Dane to do that for, a coworker in that case. Yeah. So, well, thanks very much.
No problem.
Very detailed. Um,
Your phone number. So if I ever anything bad happens to my house, I'll start with you and we'll go from there.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds great. We actually and it's a general contracting operation, so in addition to water leaks, if you need a remodel or a garage built or there's all even handyman. We have all sorts of levels of service providers that are all part of our team, and Dane handles, a lot of basically the emergency related stuff. He's the specialist in all that.
Perfect. No, that's good to know because I have a couple ideas what I want to do at the house, so I'll definitely keep you in mind.
Okay, well, really glad you were able to take a few minutes to talk with me this morning, and have a great day. Thank you, Jody.